Hello and welcome back to the Cozy Club, my friends. I'm Cozy Gamer. I am sorry that I haven't gotten a video out in just a little while. I think it's been about 5 days. But today we are going to talk about the complete in-depth guide to the new Frozen team. We have plenty of videos coming out next week. As with all of the new spell and character changes, I want to make sure we upgrade and update those tier lists for you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you are updated when that next video comes out. And let's go ahead and start with the video. My gosh, the developers did not disappoint. The full Frozen team is quickly looking like a top meta team in DSA. They have the right amount of synergy, offense, defense, and abilities to put buffs and debuffs out there to ensure you plenty of victories in Disney Sorcerer's Arena. Now, in this guide, we are going to break down the complete Frozen team, all of the characters. We're going to look at their synergies, their abilities, and what really makes them work as a team, because positioning is very important with this team as well. Throughout the video, we're going to be offering some tips and tricks, and hopefully you're going to be able to use your new Frozen team to the best of your ability. If you follow this guide, I can guarantee you are going to add plenty of W's to that victory belt of yours. Now, 2 seconds of your time for some channel news. We are now streaming on Twitch Tuesday, Thursdays, sometimes Fridays, and definitely Sundays. You guys, you get the first look of me using these characters, and feel free to bring any questions you have with you, and it's just a great, chill environment. The community is amazing. Shout out here. Oh! Somebody clip that for me. I need to use that for tomorrow's video. Somebody clip that for me. All right, now enough of that. Let's go ahead and move on to the guide. Now, I was able to unlock and play with the complete Frozen team to test them out and let you know if they are worth unlocking yourselves. We talk about it all the time on the channel here, but guys, speed is key and synergy adds to that. And let me tell you, the Frozen team has both those things. Starting with synergy, go ahead and take a look at this graphic. You can tell right here that this team is loaded with synergy. We're going to talk about it later in the video, but let me tell you that this team is based off of helpful effects and what they can do with those helpful effects. Now, all the helpful effects have each character doing something a little bit different. Anna is going to give more turn meter out there. You're going to have Sven, who's going to hit harder on his basic the more helpful effects that he has on. Kristoff just becomes a better tank, and when those effects expire, Sven is going to pick those up and continue to hit harder. And Elsa can use these special effects to gear up for the big attack that she does. And we're going to get to that later, but that's the main strategy with this team. Now, there are two ways that you can use the Frozen team. You can go very offense heavy. You can go and rock with the Bucket of Soldiers and Peach Shadow, and the amount of assists that you're going to see from Sven and all the other characters gets out of control, and the damage is kind of insane. Now, if offense isn't your thing and you want to go on the defense side, they can really sustain and make battles go for a long time. Bring in Golden Hammer and make sure that you just keep that taunt up with Kristoff. And how we're going to do that is with the Cauldron and Golden Hammer. The Cauldron's going to give more abilities to Kristoff, and you can pretty much keep that taunt on him permanently. All right, now let's go ahead and take an in-depth look into the characters themselves, and we're going to start with everybody's favorite snowman, and that's Olaf. Now, I'm seeing a lot that Olaf is the weakest link among the crew, and although that is somewhat correct, I want to see him fully maxed out and give him the full chance, but his main purpose on the squad is going to be giving Elsa tactics. They went ahead and gave him the best debuff in the game, and that's going to be Charm, so that you can keep the enemy at bay and have them hitting their own enemies. He's going to be handing out things like continuous healing, harmful immunity, and overall is a solid support character, although the bad news is he's got great abilities, but he's got terrible stats. Now, one last true to the movie's fun mechanic with Olaf is that he can self-revive. If you've got Elsa on your team, he's going to have a 55% chance to self-revive, and this can get annoying when you are facing Olaf. If you have Olaf killed off and you get Golden Hammer, you can actually get multiple of them, and it's crazy and starts to really stack up against the opponent. All right, now we're going to move on to probably one of the best in the entire team and one of the most slept on, and that's Anna. Now, Anna is incredible in every single way. If you've got the Frozen team, she does so much to enhance that, and her lead is very, very defensive, but dangerous within battle. And if you didn't get a chance to get the whole Frozen team and you just want to concentrate on Anna, she works well with the Kingdom team that you already have in place, and under Shan Yu, she can offer a lot of help and viability to the Kingdom team. Now, her Fierce Flame basic ability can do a lot of damage, and it's actually pretty crazy. She can call an ally to an assist, and if that ally is a Frozen character, they can get offense up. On top of that, anytime that Elsa gets damaged, she has a 25% chance to counter and throw the torch to the other team. Now remember, we were talking about the helpful effects earlier. Her first ability is going to be giving turn meter to the adjacent allies around her to really get that speed going. And with the more helpful effects that you have, it's going to give even more turn meter to the team. If that ability wasn't enough already, she's going to be decreasing the cooldowns on your character and giving Kristoff that coveted defense up. Now, this is the way, guys, is truly the shining spot to her kit. You're going to be using this move first with her 9 times out of 10 when facing the enemy teams. Now, you're going to have a huge advantage because this ability has an AoE offense down. That's right, you heard that correctly, an AoE offensive down for the entire enemy team. So immediately you're going to shut down the powerful offenses out there like Zerg, Shan, Yu, and Hades. And you're also going to decrease the speed turn meter to the enemy team. Now, if Kristoff is on your team, she's going to be able to get haste on her to get her speed up even more so that she can use the first ability that we just talked about to get speed to your team so that you can keep on getting that pain train rolling. Now, things are mainly offensive focused within DSA. We don't have a lot of great defensive characters or support, although Glue does say that they're going to work on them. And Anna's lead is the first real defensive viable lead that we have. Now, when any of your teammates fall below 60% health, she's going to be giving defense up and continuous healing to all of your teammates. Now listen, if you have a whole frozen team, each time you have a frozen character, that healing is going to go up by 10%. So that means you're going to be having 50-60% healing on your team anytime they go behind those thresholds. Like I said, the big offense power is going to go out there, but by the time they get enough out, you're going to be healing yourself and you're going to be putting that offensive down on the opponent. And in addition, she's going to be increasing the helpful effects on your characters by 1 turn. Now, there's something special we're talking about is she is going to let Kristoff essentially get a taunt off at the beginning of the match and put out a buff on one of your other teammates. This is essential for setting up the whole strategy behind the Frozen team. Now, we already talked about Sven and Kristoff in the video that we did about a week ago. You can find that link up above here. But Kristoff was really only missing one thing, and that was his speed stat was a little too slow. Now, the special thing she does is that Kristoff is going to gain 100% turn meter depending if you have a full Frozen team around you. Why this is crazy is that Kristoff can give a buff to one of your teammates depending on their role. And on top of that, he's going to start his taunt train that is very, very hard to get rid of. Now, just going back on a quick, short recap, Olaf is going to be doing some healing and continuous healing with his abilities. You have Anna with her lead that she will also do healing, and Sven and Kristoff can heal each other in different ways. So overall, the offense that is going to be coming out for other teams just can't hold up to the healing, the defense, the abilities that these teams can pump out. Now, Anna is easily, in my opinion, the best support in the game, with Genie being a lot better because of these spell changes, but Anna just takes the cake. She has higher than average offense, she has really solid health, and on top of that, her speed is way above average, being able to go a lot more frequently. Now, once we get stones, we're definitely going to want to put a speed stone on her, but we'll save that topic for another video. All right, now let's get to the character that you guys have been waiting for, and that is the Snow Queen, Elsa. Now, let's be real. Elsa is going to take some time for free-to-play players to unlock. They were gracious enough to put these characters right out onto the free-to-play nodes. However, you're probably not going to get Elsa this time around unless you spend a little bit money or you get extremely lucky with those shard pole openings. All right, let's start with Elsa's stats. She has the highest offense in the game. She's going to have about middle of the pack health, and her speed is tremendous, being one of the fastest characters in the game as well. So she has the 3rd fastest speed in the game. And why this is important is once we get a speed stone on her, she's going to be faster than Dash. Now, most Dash users are going to be putting an attack stone on him. And so Elsa will be able to put her silence out on Dash, thus stopping the crazy damage that he can put out and effectively countering him completely. Now, to completely understand her kit, let's start off with her passive, the bridge. Now, the bridge, you're going to be gaining these spirits, and the whole point of this entire team is to get enough spirits to deliver Elsa's big attack. You're going to be building your spirits up and aiming for having the max 4 spirits so that she can get empowered. With every spirit that you have, she gains 5% offense and 5% defense. She's going to gain these spirits on each turn start or when she uses an ability. Now, once she has all 4 spirits, she is going to go into complete OP SS tier mode. She's going to get 20% offense, 20% defense. She's also going to do an automatic attack that does a good amount of damage, and all of her abilities we're about to go over has increased additional benefits. So her basic attack does some pretty solid damage. She's going to hit up to about 3 people, and you're probably going to be ending up using this basic after you've used Force of Nature. You want to build up your shards, use the basic, and so that you can finally use Show Yourself. Now with Elsa's fast speed, the Force of Nature ability, which is kind of cool, once you get the skin, you can actually change what this ability looks like. But she has insanely fast speed. So you're going to be able to essentially shut down a character completely. Like for instance, I'll use on Zerg, it shuts him down, he can't use his ability, and by the time he comes back around, Zerg's dead. She hits damage to multiple enemies, and if for some reason you do get to use this ability while you're empowered, it does silence to all the enemies around her. You're mainly going to want to use the empowerment on the Show Yourself, as that is really the big showstopper itself. Now, as we talked about earlier, she's going to do more damage per helpful effect for Show Yourself. It's unavoidable so that Aladdin and his friends can't hide under their little cozy evasion blanket. And on top of that, it really does some nice, crazy damage. And can we give it up for Glue for the Elsa animations? They're really nice touch, and every single one visually is nice to look at. All right, and now for the meta-breaking, crazy, I don't know how this is possible, added effect to this is that she can put out stun to all of the enemies if she is empowered. This is why you want to wait as long as possible, and trust me, it's tempting to use it, but you want to wait as long as possible to use this move. This is where Olaf's tactics come in handy. You give it to Elsa, and she's going to have a guaranteed full AoE stun. That just seems crazy saying that. Now, if you can hold off and not use this ability until she's fully charged, she's really going to come back. I've seen her come back against 3 versus 1, and she really does double damage, and it's very hard for the enemy team to survive this hit. I've seen her wipe complete teams with this attack. Now, moving on to her last passive, and that's Glacial Armor. And we really haven't seen anything like this. What this is going to do is essentially, once Elsa hits 0 health, she's going to put up an ice wall, and then she's not going to be able to be attacked until her next turn. Essentially what this means is, because she's so fast, she's going to get her silence out there with Force of Nature, and no matter what happens, if they put all of their energy to take out Elsa, she's going to at the very least have a couple of those spirits with her and do the big Show Yourself move. And before she dies, she can get that out there. This is one beautiful animation, and it's also kind of crazy that just it adds to her entire kit. And with her offense being so high, this is really just a solid passive to wrap up the pretty bow on Elsa's beautiful kit. All right, are you still with me? Now, we've already talked about it a little bit before, but we're going to talk about the strategy you want to use when attacking with this team. Now, again, the whole strat behind this team is that if you want to get the most damage out there, you're going to be charging, Super Saiyan charging up Elsa's second special. Now, if you're using the entire Frozen team, you're going to want to start the battle. You're going to have Kristoff do his taunt. He's going to give the guaranteed crit to Elsa. Then you're going to want to use Force of Nature with Elsa, shutting down the biggest threat on the other team. Then once it gets to Anna and Sven, you can either go ahead and do the carrot and get himself guaranteed crit, or just get a basic attack out there. Anna, as we talked about earlier, is going to do the "this is the way, guys," and get out that offensive down, so you shut down the enemy while you're charging up your Elsa. Now, lastly, if you have Olaf on your team, you're going to go ahead and either do one of 2 things. You can go ahead and put the charm out there so you can shut down another enemy. So you have silence on one enemy, charm on another. And then if or when Elsa has 3 spirits, you want to go ahead and put tactics on her, and that is going to ensure you get the AoE stun out, effectively ending the match. Now, quickly, when facing them, I would recommend trying to get Sven down as soon as possible. You can also focus Anna. Elsa, you're going to have to save there for a little bit. You can hyper focus her, but remember, she's going to get off those abilities no matter what. So I like getting the support around her down so that she gets less buffs and does less damage in general. Moving on to synergy. Now, there's so much synergy within this team. You can check out this graphic here, and it's going to show a little bit of everything that each one has to offer. Just to point out a few things, Anna is going to give more turn meter, the more helpful effects on the field. She's also going to give offensive up with her basic and counters whenever Elsa gets attacked. She's also going to have synergy with Kristoff by giving him defense up, and haste with her second ability. As we talked about with Cauldron, you're going to be able to get Kristoff to really have a permanent taunt on the team and really be a force to be reckoned with. And Anna's lead is going to very much extend those helpful effects among your team, making them all do something a little bit different. If you haven't noticed already, each and every character has a way to extend the helpful buffs on your team, making the team more viable in general. Elsa is going to be giving herself offensive up and harmful immunity and haste. She kind of helps herself with the buffs while everyone else helps each other around them. Olaf, as mentioned, as we talked about him, he's going to extend helpful effects. He's going to give out continuous healing, and on top of that, give harmful immunity to Anna or Elsa. Lastly, being the protective man that he is, he's going to gain full turn meter whenever Anna dies, thus getting out another troll or getting out some turn meter. Now, just like with the Incredibles, it was important to know when to use which abilities. The Frozen team relies on knowing how to position them when going into battle. You can see here that I mainly like having Sven and Elsa in the back. You're going to have Anna in the middle, Kristoff to her left, and to the right, you're going to have Olaf, or if you're using Dash, this is a great place for him as well. If you don't like this setup, you can always put Kristoff and Elsa in the back, Anna in the front. You can have Sven and Olaf to either side. That way, Anna is going to be giving haste to the right people with her ability. And that's why positioning is so important with this team. Anna gives out haste, speeding up the right characters is important, and she does the magic cooldowns, and that's also important. You don't want to be giving that to Sven because there's no reason, as Finn has 0 cooldowns. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick peek with some team compositions with the Frozen characters. You can see here that I recommend using them all together if you were able to unlock them, or if you have a Kingdom team, go ahead and throw Anna and Elsa in there, and it's really going to boost up your chances. I've seen a lot of meta teams having Shan Yu. You could have Aladdin in there, Elsa, Anna, and +1 character. Usually Dash and Hades are great other replacements to have some powerful meta-defining teams. Now, if you want to see a positioning guide, I haven't done one yet. I know there's some other ones floating out there, but if you want to see one from me, go ahead and let me know in the comments below, and we can put that on the video resume. Now, last thing, we talked about it at the beginning of the video, but spell-wise, I would go with Peach Shadow and the Toy Soldiers, as you're going to have overwhelming amount of offense, but again, you can play them a little bit more sustain and get Golden Hammer out there with Cauldron, keeping the enemy so much behind with Anna's lead with health, and really, unless they're putting out massive AoE damage, they don't have a shot to take you down. And there you have it. I think I'm somewhere under the 30-minute mark, but I do appreciate you guys knowing everything you need to know about the Frozen team. If you want to know which abilities to upgrade first, I would go ahead and leave a comment below. I would love to chat with you guys and let you know what I would personally do. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe down below. Hit that notification button. On my Twitch, you can go ahead and follow or subscribe now that we are a Twitch affiliate, and I want to thank the community so much for making that possible. If you'd like to support the channel, I've got a new Patreon. You can see the link of that in my main YouTube channel, or you can go ahead and support me on Twitch. Guys, I will see you next time here at the Cozy Club. We got a lot of videos coming at you next week. Because of all the changes, we got the spells, we've got the characters, and I'm excited to do those and re-release them, as now my spell video is kind of worthless.